What if I told you there's a way to turn $100 a month into $1 million? Now, for many years of my life, I assumed you needed to own a business or hit the lottery or have some huge inheritance in order to become a millionaire. But I'll never forget the day a college professor I had changed my mind. He showed me how I could take only $100 a month and become a millionaire before I turned 65 years old. In this video, we're going to show you how to take $100 a month and turn it into $1 million. We'll look at how increasing that amount will shorten the amount of time it takes to become a millionaire. And finally, we're going to take a look at the average American, see how long it will take them to become a millionaire based on median income and age. Like I said before, when I was in college, I had a professor who challenged me and all my classmates to save at least $100 a month after we graduated. I think he did this for several reasons. First off, $100 isn't really a huge amount of money. I think he wanted to give us an amount that was obtainable, realistic, so that we wouldn't just turn them off immediately. Now, that education included a hefty focus in business, finance, accounting, and economics, but it did very little to actually prepare us for personal financial management. You see, what he knew is the role that time plays in building a personal portfolio of assets. We had our whole lives to build wealth, but he knew if we didn't start right away, in the long run, we wouldn't accumulate very much. Finally, I think he knew $100 was just a starting point. As we grew in our careers, he knew that $100 would get easier, and if we had already started saving earlier in our careers, we were more likely to continue that as our incomes increased. Now, we got a table on our screen that generally shows the progression of $100 a month saved and invested over a long period of time. Ultimately, what my professor showed us is that we could turn $100 a month into $1 million in 42 years and 4 months. Now, the table you're looking at assumes a rate of return of 10.67%. If you've seen many of our other videos, you know this is the number we typically use because it is the average rate of return of the S&P 500 since its inception in the 1950s. So to summarize this, at 22 years old, I was presented with a pretty clear and obtainable path to become a millionaire by the time I was 64 years old. And here I am 20 years later talking about it, so obviously my professor's point was well taken. The truth is, $100 was a sum I could realistically set aside to save and invest. Okay, now you may be thinking, I said 20 years ago. $100 now isn't what it was then. Neither is $1 million. And you're exactly right. $1 million today would have been worth $1.66 million when I graduated college in 2003. $100 would have been worth $166. But still, $166 wasn't an unrealistic amount to set aside each month, even when I was in my 20s. So considering that fact, considering that $100 now is less than it was then, it should be even easier to save that amount. But what if you could do more? What if you could save $200, $500, $1,000, or even $10,000 a month? Well, on the screen we have another table that shows how long it would take you to reach $1 million by contributing a variety of different amounts. So for example, if you save $500 a month, it'll take you 27 years and 7 months to reach $1 million. If you save $1,000 a month, it'll take you 21 years, 6 months. If you're able to save $5,000 a month, it'll only take you 9 years and 7 months. And finally, if you can save $10,000 a month, you'll be a millionaire in only 6 years. Next, I want to point out a couple of quirky things about compound interest here. You might assume that just by doubling the amount you contribute, that you cut the time to $1 million in half. But that's not the case. The truth is, compounding interest works its magic in the very last years before you withdraw money from the account. So for example, using where we started at $100 a month, it took over 42 years to reach $1 million. Well, at 21 years, half that time, you'll only have $96,000, which is far less than half of $1 million. $96,000 is only 1/10 of the money and only half the time. Compounding interest requires patience. On the other hand, if you do double the contribution, for the same period of time, the amount would double. So in other words, for the $100 contribution that was worth $1 million in 42 years and 4 months, a $200 contribution over that same span would be worth $2 million in 42 years and 4 months. So how much would a $1,000 monthly contribution be worth after 42 years and 4 months? A cool $10 million. And $10,000 a month, if you could squeeze it, would be worth over $100 million in 42 years. Hey there, I hope you found this video really helpful. If you do, if I could get you to click the like and subscribe buttons below, it is a really, really big help to our channel when you do that. Helps our channel to grow, helps us to teach other people about personal finance. All right, Kurt, you said it's great and all, but what could the average Joe really do? Not everybody has enough income to set aside that kind of money each month. Well, our recommendation is that at a minimum, you save at least 15% of your income each month in tax-advantaged retirement accounts. If you're getting a little later start in retirement savings, say you're in your 30s and you haven't saved anything yet, we'd ratchet that up a little bit to 20%. And if you're in your 40s and you haven't started yet, we'd ratchet that up all the way to 25%. We cover all this in milestone 5 of the Next Dollar Roadmap, which we'll put a link to in the description below. So using the most recent data we have, the median household income for 25 to 34-year-olds is $74,862. 15% of that would be $11,229.30 annually, or $935.78 monthly. So if the average Joe saved $935.78 each month, he'd have $1 million in 22 years and a month. The median household income for 35 to 44-year-olds is $90,312. If they save 20%, like we said earlier, they'd have to put away $1,505 a month. The time to $1 million on that monthly contribution is only 18 years and 2 months. Finally, 45 to 54-year-olds have a median household income of $97,089. If they put away 25% of their income each month, that would be $2,022.69, and it would take them 15 years and 10 months to reach $1 million. The lesson here is start saving early or start saving more if you're getting a late start. All right, so why did we use $1 million? Basically, it's because it's convenient. For some reason, a lot of people have started criticizing the millionaire milestone, pointing out that $1 million now is not worth what it once was, and they're right. But I'd like to also point out that you can't get to $2 million without getting to $1 million first, and you can't get to 3 without getting to 2, and 4 without getting to 3, and so on. So you might as well aim at that first million just to have a target to pursue. Secondly, if your critique is that inflation is eroding the benefit or the value of $1 million, then that should give you all the more urgency to get going now, because inflation is not going to stop. This post clearly illustrates the importance of time in compounding interest and building wealth. And the absolute best time to start saving is right now. Even if it's a modest amount, put something away and let time begin to work on it. All right, in summary, my challenge to you is the same as my professors. Even modest amounts contributed into an investment account each month can grow into a great sum of money. Don't accept any lies that you can't save for your future. There's no better time to start than right now. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got plenty of helpful information on our website, martinmoney.com. We'll provide some links below. We'll also provide a link to the written post that accompanies this video in the description below. You can also follow us on our social media channels, which we have on the screen. I want to thank you again for watching our video. We're always grateful for your interest in what we're doing. God bless and take care.